أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Lesson number 138, Surah An-Nahl, ayah number 80. وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُمْ, and Allah has made for you, مِن بُيُوتِكُمْ, from your houses, from your homes, سَكَنًا, a place of rest. وَجَعَلَ لَكُمْ, and He has made for you, مِن جُلُودِ الْأَنْعَامِ, from the hides of the animals, بُيُوتًا, houses, tents. تَسْتَخِفُونَهَا يَوْمَ ظَعْنِكُمْ وَيَوْمَ إِقَامَتِكُمْ, which you find light on your day of travel and also on your day of encampment. We see in this ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning another big blessing of His upon people. And what is that blessing? The blessing of houses, of homes. The homes that we live in are also a huge blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person might say, but we build our houses ourselves. The animals, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates them. But the houses that we live in, we build them ourselves. But if you think about it, where do we get the material from? From what Allah has provided us with. And how did we come up with the way of building the houses? If you look at it in different areas, where the climates are different, where the weather is different, houses are built completely differently. Like over here, for instance, if you were to build houses made of concrete, you would freeze in the winter. It would be impossible for you to warm up your houses. Similarly, if you go to other places and if you build houses of wood over there, termites would completely consume them. It would be impossible to live in such houses. So who has given this ability to us to build houses which are suitable to our places, suitable to the climate that we live in? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gave us the skill, He gave us the talent, and He has also provided us with the resources. وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُمْ. So Allah has made for you مِن بُيُوتِكُمْ. Buyut is a plural of bayt. So your houses, whether they are houses that are made of mud, concrete, wood, some solid material, whatever your houses are made of, your houses, Allah has made them for you sakanan, a place of rest, a place to find peace. Sakan from the root letters, sin, kaf, noon, sukoon, peace and tranquility. And the word sakan is actually a zarf. So it would mean a means or place of time or rest. The means or time of rest and comfort. So the houses that you live in, they are a sakan for you, meaning places where you find sukoon. How do you find sukoon in your houses? How do they give you sukoon? How do they give you comfort and peace? That first of all, they protect you from the weather outside. For example, if it's raining, you just go into your house and you're nice and dry. If it's snowing outside, you manage to warm up your houses inside and stay warm without winter jackets on you 24 hours. Similarly, your houses protect you from the heat of the sun. They protect you from other people watching you all the time. You get privacy in your house. Similarly, from insects, from mosquitoes, so many things. So your houses are a place of sakan for you. You go there, you relax, you find peace. وَجَعَلَ لَكُمْ, and He has made for you, مِن جُلُودِ الْأَنْعَامِ, from the skins of the grazing livestock. Julud is a plural of jild. He has made for you from their skins, meaning from their hides, buyutan, houses. And which buyut are these? Tents or canopies. And these houses that you make from the hides of these animals, you find them extremely light. تَسْتَخِفُونَهَا. تَسْتَخِفُونَ from the root letters, خَافَفَ, from the word khafif. And khafif is to be light. And istakhaffa is to find something light, to consider something to be light, whether in the tangible sense or in the intangible sense. Like for example, it's possible that you're carrying a bag and you say it's extremely heavy. There comes your brother and he says, oh, you think it's heavy? It's not heavy at all. He finds it very light and you find it heavy in the tangible sense. Similarly, in the intangible sense. One is that a person finds a particular task extremely difficult, and because of that it seems very burdensome. And there's another person, he finds it extremely easy, which is why it's very light on him. So تَسْتَخِفُونَهَا, you take it very lightly, you find it very lightly. What does ha refer to? These tents that you have made from the hides of these animals. So you find them light, particularly when يَوْمَ ظَعْنِكُمْ, on the day of your journey, and also وَيَوْمَ إِقَامَتِكُمْ, and also on the day of your encampment. ظَعْن from the root letters ظَ, عَيْن, نون. And ظَعْن is used for traveling. It's used for a journey. But in particular, it's used for such a journey which a person takes in order to search for food and water. The Arabs, where did they live? In the desert. And remember, some Arabs, they used to live in cities, like for example Makkah, Medina, At-Ta'if. But the rest of them, who were they? Bedouins, Bedouin Arabs. And they would move from one place to the other in search of food and water. So for example, they would be traveling, they would find an oasis in the middle of the desert, and they would stay over there until the water, the food, everything would be consumed over there. And if they needed more water, obviously, to survive, they would have to move elsewhere. And remember, they had animals. And the animals, you have to feed them. You have to feed them plants, you have to feed them food. And for that reason, they would move along with their herds within the desert, moving from one location to the other. So over here in particular, we see that the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had bestowed on the Bedouins are mentioned. That He has provided you with such houses that you make from your animal hides, which are first of all very cost effective. Because they wouldn't have to go somewhere to buy those skins. All that they had to do was slaughter an animal, eat the meat, enjoy that for some time, and then the skin, use it for building their tents. And these tents, they would not only live inside, but it was also very, very easy to transport them. Why? Because they were so light in weight. So the days in which they would travel, the day of migration, the day of Zar'n, the day that they would go in order to search for food and water, on that day they would find it extremely easy to carry their tents with them. Even now, if you go for camping, what kind of tents would you prefer? Those that are extremely light in weight. Similarly, if a person is going for Hajj, and if a person has a knee injury or they're elderly, they would prefer to take a chair with them. But what kind of chair will they take with them? Which is extremely light, easy to pack, fits in a small bag, it has a carrier on it, very, very easy and light. And that is a huge convenience. So similarly, for the Arabs, the tents that they made were of animal hides, and they were extremely easy for them to travel with. وَيَوْمَ إِقَامَتِكُمْ. Iqama from the root letters, qaf, waw, mim. And iqama, to establish, to settle. So, on the day of your encampment, on the day of your stay. Meaning the day when you pitch camp, the day when you arrive at a new location, it's extremely easy for you to pitch your tents. Because they're made of these animal hides, which are extremely light. And remember, this was not just convenient for desert dwellers, for the Bedouins, but this was also extremely convenient for travelers. This was also extremely convenient for who? For travelers. Because the Arabs, again, they would travel a lot. For business. The people of Makkah, they would travel. Syria, Ash-Sham. For business purposes. And imagine you're traveling through the desert. So, obviously, they would need to take some tents with them. And these tents, made of animal hides, extremely light. So that's a huge blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you. وَمِنْ أَصْوَافِهَا. And from its wool. Aswaf is a plural of suf. From the root letters, sad, waw, fa. And suf is used for sheep wool. Wool that is taken from what? Sheepskin. وَأَوْبَارِهَا. Awbar is the plural of wabar. Waw, ba, ra. Wabar, with the fatha on the ba. And wabar is used for the hair of camels and goats. In particular, it is used for the hair of who? camels and goats. وَأَشْعَارِهَا. Ash'ar is a plural of sha'r, and sha'r is hair. But when used for animals, it refers to the hair of goats. So suf is, aswaf is sheep, awbar is camels and goats, and ash'ar is goats only. So from this wool and fur and hair, what do you get? What benefits do you extract from them? First of all, athathan. Athathan, furnishings, furniture. Athath, it is said that it's the plural of the word athathatun. Just add a ta marbuta at the end. And atha ya'ussu, hamza, sa, assa ya'ussu, is to be plenty, to be abundant. And from this, the word is used for every kind of abundant good, every kind of blessing. And in particular, it is used for household items. What kind of items? Household items, because first of all, they're abundant. Aren't they? If you've ever moved and you try to wrap up your kitchen, you're wondering, how on earth did I amass all of this stuff? Similarly, if you're just packing up your living room, all of that is what? Home furnishings. It's so much stuff. So asas refers to what? The household items, such furnishings, such things that are used inside the house. وَمَتَاعًا. Mata' is what? That is a source of benefit, something that is enjoyed. So what's the difference between asas and mata'? Asas in particular is used for household items, and mata' is used for such things that are used by people. Whether they're used inside the house or outside the house. Whether they're used at home or when traveling. Whether they're used at home or at work. That is what? Mata'. Objects of delight. Objects of enjoyment. Equipment. Gear. That is what mata' is. إِلَى حِينٍ, until a time. Meaning, from the hair, the fur, the wool of all of these animals, you make furnishings for your house, and you also are able to use them until when? Until a heen, until a limited time. And what is that time? Until either you die or they expire, they come to an end. So the benefit that you gain from these things are only for your life. If you think about it, athath, the various furnishings, the various household items that can be made from the fur, the hair, the wool of all these animals are what? Like, for example, rugs. Similarly, blankets. Similarly, clothing. Various things can be made from the fur of these animals. Remember that this surah, Surah An-Nahl, is a Makki surah. And in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned many of His blessings. And amongst those blessings, what has He mentioned over here? The blessing of, first of all, houses, secondly, tents, and thirdly, household items. So we can consider houses to be your permanent residence, tents to be your temporary residence, and mata' and asas to be the things that you use, whether at your permanent or your temporary residence. Now, in particular, what is mentioned over here is such things that the Bedouins would use, that the Arabs would use. But this blessing was not just bestowed upon them. It has also been bestowed upon us. Because if you think about it, if we did not have this roof above us, or if we did not have these lights are what? Asas. Household items. Mata'an. They are a source of benefit for us. Similarly, if we did not have these walls around us, how would it be possible for us to sit here and study today? Just imagine, no walls, no windows, no ceiling. How would you sit in this cold? In that rain? In all that wind? In all those birds chirping and the planes flying and all that noise, the traffic, all of that outside? How would it be possible for you? It would be impossible. Similarly, if you didn't have houses that had ceilings on them, that had walls around them, that had windows, how would it be possible for us to live? How would it be possible for us to do anything in privacy? To get some sukoon, to get some peace? It would be impossible. So the fact that we have houses that are a means of sukoon, that are a means of privacy and protection, this is a huge blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And unfortunately, we take these blessings for granted. And we never appreciate for these blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. We never appreciate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them. We will thank Allah for the food that we eat. We will perhaps thank Him for the new clothes that we wear. But we should also thank Him for the blessing of a house. A house that is a source of sukoon for us. Just imagine all those people who are homeless. Just imagine. Just the other day we were driving through downtown and I saw this man, he had a trolley in his hand. And that trolley, at the back of it, he had hung like about 5 or 6 bags which were perhaps full of his clothes or his stuff. And in the trolley he had some stuff as well. I was like, it seemed as though he was a homeless man. It was quite obvious because he was dressed up in a warm winter jacket and huge shoes and gloves and cap. Obviously, he was sitting in the cold for a long time. And all those things showed that he didn't really have a place to live. And it really hit me that imagine we are so cold inside the car, even that we have the heated seats on and we have the heating on. We don't want to open the window. And here is this man sitting on the side of the road with all of his belongings without a roof on his head. We never thank Allah for the house that we have. Unfortunately, we complain that this room is too small, or the windows are too small, or the windows are too big, or the direction of the house is not as good, the carpet is too old, the washroom is not how I would like it to be. We complain so much. And we forget the fact that, alhamdulillah, Allah has given us a house in which we find sukoon. If it's not ideal, which it can never be ideal. Ask the person who had a custom-built house. Even that house is not ideal for him. After some time, he'll find faults in it. At least you have a place that is yours. At least you have a place where you can do whatever you want to. You have some sukoon, you have some peace. That is a huge blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That protects you from the dust, from the noise. It's a huge blessing. So we should really be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the blessing of the house that He has given to us. And the houses that the Arabs had, especially, which they would make of animal hides, they were especially beneficial for them because they would be a source of keeping the heat out during the day. They were like insulators. So during the day, the heat would not be inside the tents because the sunlight would be completely blocked by the thick animal hides. And during the night, they would be a source of retaining heat and warmth inside. Because remember, in the desert, at night, it's extremely cold. So they were perfect for the weather that they were living in. And if you look at it, in every place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided such houses which are ideal for that weather, for that climate. So we see in this ayah that the homes that we have, the furnishings that we enjoy, the clothing that we have, all of these are what? Blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, we should thank Him for them. Instead of finding faults, instead of complaining, we should be grateful. وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُمْ, and Allah has made for you, مِمَّا, from that which, خَلَقَ, He has created. Meaning from the various things that Allah has created, various things, like for example, the mountains, similarly trees, animals, dunes, clouds, buildings that we make. So, وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُمْ مِمَّا خَلَقَ, from the various things that He has created, He provides us what? ظِلَالًا, shades, shadows. Plural of ظِل. And these shades, they shelter you from the heat of the sun. Just imagine if everything in this dunya was such that the heat of the sun, the sunlight, could penetrate through it. Just imagine if the ceiling could not block the sunlight, if the roof of your car could not block the sunlight, if the trees could not block it, if the clouds could not block it, if the buildings could not block it, how would we do anything? You know, many times it happens with certain people that if they go out in the sun and the sun is extremely bright, they're unable to open their eyes even. We would be walking around with sunglasses all the time, making our life so difficult. So, وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُمْ مِمَّا خَلَقَ ظِلَالًا. وَجَعَلَ لَكُمْ, and He has made for you, مِنَ الْجِبَالِ, from the mountains. Jibal, plural of jabal. Meaning from the mountains He has made for you aknanan, shelters. Aknan is a plural of kin or kan. Kaf, noon, with a shadda on the noon and either a kasra or a fatha on the kaf. Kan or kin. And a kin is basically anything in which something hides. Anything in which something is kept secure. Remember? Akinnatan. Coverings. That in which something is protected. That in which something is preserved. It is hidden inside it. And aknan in particular is used for such places where creatures, they go inside in order to be protected from the heat of the sun, in order to be protected from bad weather, like for example rain or hail or snow. And it also applies to such places in which various creatures live. So for example, it can be a cave, it can be a tunnel, it can be a hole. So Allah has made for you in the mountains aknanan, places of shelter, places of refuge, places in which you can hide and shelter yourselves from the heat of the sun, from extreme cold, from fierce wind, from bad weather. Similarly, from the danger of the enemy. You can go and hide inside these caves and be sheltered. وَجَعَلَ لَكُمْ, and He has made for you sarabila, garments. Sarabil is a plural of sirbal. From the root letters, sin, ra, ba, lam. And sirbal is a long garment. A long garment. It's basically one piece which gives the benefit of a qamis as well as a izar. It gives the benefit of a shirt as well as a lower garment. This is what a sirbal is. And from this it can also be used for clothes. So وَجَعَلَ لَكُمْ سَرَابِيلَ, He has made for you sarabil, long clothes, garments, dresses. And these dresses, what do? تَقِيكُمْ, it protects you. From the root letters, waw qafiyah, same root as taqwa. So these garments protect you from what? Al-harra, the heat. Now after heat, bard, cold, has not been mentioned. But by mentioning one, the other is implied. It's understood. So these garments protect you from heat, and they also protect you from what? Cold. It's understood. By mentioning one, the other is implied. And when such is the case, then mentioning one is sufficient. Okay? So تَقِيكُمُ الْحَرَّ, they protect you from heat as well as cold. So garments which are made of various materials, for example cotton or wool, various materials, and these clothes, they protect you from extreme weathers. Now you may wonder, garments that protect you from heat? Isn't that strange? Generally, what do people think? That if you're hot, take your clothes off. That's what people say. But that is not what solves the problem. If you take your clothes off, what is that going to do? It's going to burn your skin. It's going to make your skin turn extremely red. It's going to give you sunburn. It's going to have harmful effects on your skin. You need to cover your skin. But you need to wear such material that is going to keep you cool. So for example, in summer, what kind of clothes do you wear? Light. Similarly, very nice, soft cotton, which stays cold. So, تَقِيكُمُ الْحَرَّ. وَسَرَابِيلَ, and He has also made garments for you. تَقِيكُم, that protect you. From what? بَأْسَكُمْ, your might. What does it mean by ba's? War. Meaning, in war also these garments protect you. What kind of garments are these? Coats of mail, armor, helmets. If you think about it, a helmet is worn on the head. Similarly, coats of mail are worn on the body. Shields. So He has also provided you with such garments which protect you in your battle from getting struck, from getting shot at. And these days, where they have those jackets which protect you from bullets, from gunshots. And you know what they're made of? Silk, and also one more thing. Any idea? Spider's web. They're made of the spider webs, strings, because they're extremely elastic. So this is why they're made of such material. It's also a natural material. كَذَلِكَ likewise, يُتِمُّ نِعْمَتَهُ He completes His blessing عَلَيْكُمْ upon you. Where? In this dunya. How? Like the way that He has provided you not just houses to live in, but He has provided you various places throughout the earth to protect you from the heat of the sun, from bad weather, from fierce wind. And not just these places, but He has also provided you with various types of clothes to protect you from the various dangers that you could face in different situations. In this way, He has completed His blessing upon you in this dunya. That everything that you need, He has provided that to you. It's not that Allah only gave us clothes and that was enough. No, He gave us clothes and He also gave us houses. It's not that He only gave us houses. No, He gave us clothes as well. It's not only that He gave us clothes and houses only. He gave us other places as well where we could find protection and refuge and shelter. So Allah has completed His blessings upon us. He has given us everything that we need. Every need, every requirement in life has been fulfilled. Why? لَعَلَّكُمْ تُسْلِمُونَ So that you can submit. What does it mean by this? So that you can submit. Meaning so that you can submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember, this is a Makki surah. Primarily the address is to who? To the people of Makkah. And over here, the various blessings are mentioned so that they feel grateful. They feel a sense of gratitude. And as a result of that, they willingly want to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They willingly want to become Muslim. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُسْلِمُونَ However, these blessings are not just upon the non-Muslims that they should become Muslim upon hearing these blessings. They're also upon those who believe. So لَعَلَّكُمْ تُسْلِمُونَ would mean so that you remain constant in your submission to Allah. Because when a person continues to remember the various blessings, then he continues to remain obedient. And لَعَلَّكُمْ تُسْلِمُونَ has also been read as لَعَلَّكُمْ تُسْلَمُونَ, which means so that you can be saved, so that you can be protected. Meaning Allah has given you all of these blessings, houses, shelters, clothing, so that you can be saved. Saved from what? Harm, injury. So we see in this ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions more of His blessings. That blessings which are a means of protection, blessings which are a means of shelter for us. And if Allah has provided this for us in the dunya, He has certainly provided us with similar blessings to protect us from the heat in the hereafter. And what is that blessing? The blessing of guidance, the blessing of the messenger, the blessing of the Quran. And Allah has given us this blessing so that we can submit to Him, so that we can listen to Him. Because if you think about it, someone who has given a huge blessing to the other person is indebted to him. If someone has done you a huge favor, you are for always indebted to him, you always obey him. As I mentioned earlier, that al-ihsan yaqta'u al-lisan. You have to obey, you have to listen to the one who has bestowed a huge favor upon you. So if Allah has bestowed you with so many blessings, what is required of you? لَعَلَّكُمْ تُسْلِمُونَ That you submit to Him, that you listen to Him, you obey Him. Not that you enjoy all of these blessings and you forget Him. But unfortunately, this is a behavior of many people. They enjoy the various blessings that Allah has provided, but at the end of the day, they don't think about obeying Allah. Just as we learned earlier, that Allah has given to you eyes and ears and hearts. قَلِيلًا مَا تَشْكُرُونَ Little is it that you offer gratitude. We learn in the Quran as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٌ Indeed, the human being to his Lord is extremely ungrateful. He uses all the blessings, but he never turns and says, thank you. Or even if he says, Alhamdulillah, he never obeys Allah. This is the ingratitude of people. The true believer, when he realizes all of these blessings, what does he want to do naturally? He wants to obey Allah more. He becomes more grateful. And eventually, everything that he does is dedicated to who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Why? Because He has given to me everything that I have. And when He has given everything, then my everything is also for Him.